Let's keep a field journal together. For the 4th grade naturalists of Parkdale Elementary in East Aurora, New York. Hello, young naturalists. I'm Ms. LV, and I am one of the 4th grade teachers at your school, Parkdale. Today, I'm out here in a little hidden corner of my yard to talk to you a little bit about keeping a field journal or a nature journal. I really like journaling, and I've kept lots of journals over my life. And one kind is a field journal, and this is simply a book where you draw and write about things you noticed in nature. A naturalist is someone who is interested in nature and who studies nature. And while all of us spend time outside, we don't always really slow down while we're out here to pay attention to what we see, what we notice, what we smell, what we hear. Often when we're outside, we're doing other things, fun things. We might be playing a ball game, we might be having a picnic, we might be jumping rope, or just being outside with our family or friends. But when we're outside with a field journal, what we do is we are quiet. We're someplace where there's any kind of nature. I could, in my field journal, write about a city street. I could watch, I could see something coming up near the sidewalk, a little plant coming through a crack. I can write in my field journal looking through a window, noticing the sky, listening for birds. And so today, what I want to share with you is, as I'm surrounded by all these goldenrod plants, see, nature changes in a predictable way. And I could have told you there would be goldenrod where I was, even if my eyes were closed, because I know at this time of year where we live in this area of Western New York, there's goldenrod. There also are asters, and these little light purple asters are so pretty. They look like stars. Sometimes we see dark ones, sometimes we see white ones. But when we spend time outside in nature and we look things up in books or on the internet or ask people we know, we can learn more and more about the patterns around where we live. We can ask questions, and we can become more connected to the natural world right outside our back doors. So you're going to be keeping field journals, and I wanted to share with you today just a page from mine, a page of drawing, and a page of writing to let you have a peek into somebody else's field journal so that you can think a little bit about your own. So this field journal is one I was working in this summer, and there are some rubber stamps on it that I carved. And then I wrote inside, on the outside, a quote from David Allen Sibley. It says, "To get started in birding, all you need is curiosity." And I would say that that's true about everything in nature. To get started in studying anything, inside or outside actually, all you need is curiosity. But you also need a little bit of time with that curiosity. And that's why we'll be keeping field journals this year, so we can notice, get curious, notice more, ask questions, learn from each other, and learn from everything that changes outside. So here's a page from my field journal. I'll share this with you in a slide too. But this was up in my woods earlier in the summer, and quite late spring, early summer. And you can see there are two parts of this picture when I show it to you. The upper part is the whole woods, just the whole woods from what I could see where I was sitting. And I labeled it. It's a pulled back drawing where I looked at the large view, and I labeled, "A tree behind me is creaking. Leaves are hanging on, shivering. Leaves are like golden butterflies. There are pointy rust-colored buds and some gray-brown bark." I drew this with my pen. I added color later, but I looked very closely and paid attention to my big surroundings. Then beneath it, I did a close-up drawing of just one of the trees from this big picture, one of the branches. And you can see I did use some gold paint to show how these leaves look very golden in the light in the late spring, early summer. And I wrote, "These golden quivering leaves are so strong. How do they stay through a winter of snow? Here's a new bud. They remind me of ballet dancers. So delicate, but very strong. And grayish brown small trunks." I did date this. This was actually April 14th, 2020 at 2:44 p.m. in the woods The weather was windy and cold, so it was really more spring than summer. And I always do this when I write in any kind of journal, but especially a field journal. I write the date, I write the time, I write where I am and the weather. This time when I come back, that way whenever I come back to the journal, I'll know where this art and this thinking took place. So on the facing page, I did some writing and some questioning. And you probably know that question words we're really familiar with are who, what, when, where, why, and how, or who, what, when, where, how, and why. And I pushed myself, I used rainbow colors to label these, and I pushed myself to really think about questions I have about this place in my woods on April 14th this year, and what I wonder starting with these words. So let me read you my questions, and then I'll read you the long writing I did below. Who? These leaves, are they beech? Birch? They're like golden quivery. What do? They keep hanging in the trees. When? April 14th after winter. They've been there for a year. Where? All around this forest. They're the only ones hanging on. How? I don't know how they do it. Why? Is there a purpose for these leaves to remain? So writing these questions or these wonderings or from these words gave me an idea about writing long. And here's what I wrote. These shivery, quivery, paper-thin leaves are holding on even on such a windy day. Whenever I walk in these woods, I wonder about this. Why don't they let go? We've had so much snow and so much wind, and yet they are still here. They remind me of a child's drawing that gets hung on the refrigerator and somehow stays there for years and years. Why that picture? Why those leaves? It feels mysterious to me, and while I can find out if I'm correct about if these are beech or birch, I'm more interested in the bigger why. Why don't they, won't they, let go? What could need a few delicate leaves? They're like parchment paper, sticky notes bearing a message. We are fleeting, we are beautiful. Right beside these dried up old leaves are tender reddish buds for this year's new leaves to come. The old is beautiful, and so is the new, and they live side by side, each one reminding me that young becomes old and old was once young. Sometimes in a busy day I can forget such things, and nature, as always, speaks the truth. I enjoy hearing the rustle of old leaves and this creaky tree behind me. It feels like it is trying to tell me something. I wish I could speak tree. If I could, I would ask about these quivery, golden, hangy-ani leaves. So here's the picture again. This is the pulled back one. And here's the close-up of just that one branch. So this week, I want to encourage you to do your first field journal entry, really, where you find a place. It could be any place. I said on a sidewalk, looking out a window, or if you're able to get outside someplace where you're surrounded by any kind of plant, or even just one plant. Get quiet. Listen. Don't bring any devices with you. Just pay attention to where you are. And in your field journal, write the day, time, weather, where you are. And we'll do this more and more as time goes on. So enjoy the weather, enjoy the fall, and enjoy field journaling. It was great to be with you today, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outdoors. Enjoy your field journal. Pay close attention.